Computer.
Okay.
And we're live. Well, not really. We're live when we're doing this, but it's
Right.
not live for you, but it's live for us. So
Or is
just
it
imagine
Memorex?
that you're here in this moment with us while we're doing this live.
Right. Is it live or is it Memorex?
Ooh, good question. I always wondered about that. It's like
Yep.
uh, they they had some great commercials back then. Remember the dude sitting in the chair in front of the speaker and
hmm
just sitting there and his drink slowly went there and he just stops it.
Yep.
As it slides down the glass. It's some good stuff back then. Anyway,
Hair flying back.
yeah. Okay, as you know who we are, what we do, we're just gonna jump into it.
Yep. Fuck yeah.
All right, you want to go first? You want me to go first? We're doing two topics today. We're not doing now. We've gone through some stuff this week, so we're just gonna do two topics, and we're gonna kind of go with the flow. Do you want
Yeah,
to go
I'm
first?
gonna I'm gonna go first. I'm gonna start with a dark and end with more of a light.
Okay.
All right. So,
Early dark
well, no,
or
it's because I drove to the store this morning and saw something that creeped me right the fuck out.
oh, okay.
I drove past a church, which pretty sure is a cult church. It's raining here.
hmm
Two guys standing outside the church out by the road. One's with an umbrella, the other one no umbrella, and they're both sitting there waving like this.
Like they're like a spooky clown.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that just creeped me out. So I'm like, that spurred me on to my first topic today, which is going to be let me get to the page. Get to the page. Top five weird cult practices.
Oh, all right.
Here we go. We're gonna start out in Cali. Because I mean, you can't have a cult unless you start out in California.
Right.
Flirting, fishing, and Children of God.
Oh, yeah.
In the Children of God cult, founded by David Berg in California, practiced a technique called flirty fishing. This involved female members using sex to recruit new male members, encouraging the sexualization of children within the community, promoting what Berg called religious prostitution. This practice led to widespread sexual abuse and exploration within the exploitation within the cult. My bad on
Mm.
that word. So yeah, I mean that's kind of it just sounds like the dude's a pimp and pimping out
Yeah.
his congregation.
Yeah.
Probably making some money off it too. All right.
Oh, most cults are in it for the money.
Right. So now we're going to travel over to Heaven's Gate cult led by Marshall Applewhite. Now they have an alien spaceship ascension in Heaven's Gate.
Hmm.
Oh, I remember this because there
Yeah.
was a guy that missed the Kool-Aid drinking. Members believed they could ascend to the spaceship trailing the Hale-Bopp comet. To reach the spaceship, 39 members, including Applewhite, committed mass suicide in 1997. They wore identical clothing and Nike sneakers and covered themselves with purple cloths. Basically, they drank poison Kool-Aid and all
Yes.
died.
Yes.
And
Yeah,
go ahead.
and if you see the images of it, it's crazy that well, first of all, it's crazy that Nike made more than one pair of purple Nikes that looked like I mean, these were like they weren't like athletic shoes, they were like nurses' shoes that you would that they would
Mm.
wear. It it was crazy. Go ahead.
All right. No, I like the insight. That was good.
Well, actually, Saturday Night Live did a spoof of it where they had that the corner kind of lifted the thing up there and it was like they see the shoes and it says just do it.
Nice. All right. So now we're going to travel up, go a little bit west of me, a little bit east, a lot east of you to Chicago.
Chicago.
Chicago. Blood rituals in the Chicago Rippers. This satanic cult, led by Robin Getch, engaged in horrifying ritualistic practices, abducting and mutilating women, removing and eating the breasts of their victims as a satanic sacrament, responsible for the disappearance of at least 18 women in the Illinois area. I mean, we eat chicken breast.
Yeah, I think human women's female breasts are a little bit more fatty,
Right.
sometimes a little bit more saline involved.
Right. I just remembered I got to put my phone on silent. Sorry. Let me get this on silent and I'll go to the next one. All right. The next one is blood over intent internet ritual. So now we're in internet land, YouTube land.
Mm,
A newer internet-based cult practice has emerged called blood over intent. Followers perform a bloodletting ritual to prove their devotion. The ritual is meant to allow them to survive the end times, led by someone claiming to be the reincarnation of Satan, primarily spread through YouTube and other online platforms.
okay,
So you just cut your finger and bleed a little bit and call it good?
I guess. And can anybody just say that they're the reincarnation of Satan? See,
Right.
I mean, I couldn't get that out because Satan didn't want me to say that because he was jealous.
Right. And then the final one. This one, we're heading down south to Mexico. Human sacrifice and Matamoros cult. A drug
Mm,
smuggling cult in Matamoros, Mexico, practices gruesome rituals. Perform human sacrifices to protect their drug operations. 15 bodies were found on a ranch near the U.S. Mexico border in 1989. Use satanic cult items in the rituals. These practices demonstrate the extreme and often dangerous beliefs that can develop within cult environments, ranging from sexual exploitation to mass suicide and human sacrifice.
yeah, I remember that case specifically because they stole they were three Americans. It was in Juarez, and they came in across the border from El Paso. They walked over, partied in there, and then there were three Americans that were college students that were over there, and one of them got um, uh, away from the other, got displaced from the others, and they ended up the American government finally got involved after this guy disappeared,
Right.
and they ended up finding parts of him in this guy had this cauldron full of
Oof,
body parts and other stuff, and they found his remains.
that's creepy.
The guy was selling Santeria spells to drug cartels around there to protect them on missions that they were doing and
well,
protect their operations.
well, he ain't got no more Santeria. He ain't got no crystal ball.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, yeah, that one was a crazy
Yeah.
case.
But I mean, that's what cults do. And honestly, to me, most organized religions are cults. I'm just going to go out and say it because if you use fear propaganda to control your flock, that's a cult tactic.
Well, and let's just I don't want to bash religion too much, but I will. Any uh any group that says if your behavior today will reward you in another life, it's a cult.
Yep.
It's a cult. That is a that is a reward that's not tangible. That is a reward that you can't prove. That is a
Right.
reward that is bullshit.
Yep.
Um, yeah, if you want to sacrifice your lifestyle and your health and your wealth and all that other shit to make sure that somebody else is living better because you may or may not in another life have a better life,
Yeah.
fuck that. You've already and part of it is too, if you're dumb enough to even get involved with it, if you don't see red flags when you first go and say, hey, all these women are all over you and you've never actually had a woman talk to you in a bar ever in your life, walk away.
Yep.
Walk away.
Yep. I went to the same church that had that waving people I went there one time because it was for a friend. Went there with her. And the guy was up there healing people. I'm like, yep, fuck that. I'm out. This is bullshit. I got up
No,
and walked out in that process.
no, absolutely.
I'm like, nope. Sorry. Value as a friend, but ain't doing your bullshit.
Yeah. Uh, I haven't actually been to one, but a friend of mine was telling me that he went with this. Uh, he met this girl, and they're like, "Hey, would you want to go to church with us?" And so he did. And he's like, 20 minutes into it, people were talking in tongues, and I'm saying that in there, and he's like, oh wow, they've got they've been blessed with the ability to do that. And he's like, it's a kindergartner be just saying gibberish
Yep.
is what it was. And it's like, and people were like believing that the Holy Spirit was touching them. Anyway, all right, I'll go on to mine.
Okay.
Otherwise, I'll keep patching religion for another hour because I'm already in a mood.
Right.
Okay, I'm gonna run down some of the top. Some I'll just read. It's a top 10 list, but I won't read them all because we know what a lot of them are. The top 10 most famous unsolved crimes in history.
Okay.
Okay. First one, the Zodiac killer murders in San Francisco area. We all know what that one is.
Yep.
Everybody's heard of the Black Dahlia.
Yep.
They may not know all Jack the Ripper,
Yep.
Jean Benet Ramsey.
Yep.
One of my favorites, though, and this is one that's everybody probably knows it, but in 1971, an unidentified man hijacked a Boeing 727 aircraft and extorted $200,000 in ransom and parachuted out of the plane, never to be seen again. That was DB Cooper. And he
Yeah.
did it right in my backyard.
Yeah.
So I've always, I didn't know much about this case until I moved to Seattle, and my roommate was from Colorado, and he just started talking about DB Cooper one day. I'm like, what the fuck is that? I've never even. So he had this book, and I read it, and it was all about the DB Cooper case back then. It's like, this is fucking crazy.
Right.
So, okay. The next is the Taman Shud case. In 1948, an unidentified man was found dead in a beach in Australia. The case became even more mysterious because a scrap piece of paper had the phrase Taman Shud that was found in his pocket, leading to speculation about espionage and coded messages. So this man was found dead on a beach, but he was of like Indian or Hindu descent
Okay.
there. He obviously didn't look native to the area, no identification. The only thing that he had was this little slip of paper in his pocket. And
Wow.
to this day, nobody ever came forward to claim him or to say that they knew who he was. The next one everybody knows is the disappearance of Jimmy Hoffa.
Yep.
You know, is he under Giant Stadium? Is
I
he
heard it was
the bot?
Silverdome.
Is he at the bottom of the Detroit River? Who knows? But he's not alive.
No,
They
he.
unalived him.
Yep. Long time ago.
Yes. The Visalia Axe murders. In 1912, 8 people, including 6 children, were bloodily murdered with an axe in Visalia, Iowa. The crime shocked the nation and despite several suspects, nobody was ever convicted.
Hmm.
The entire family was hacked to death while they're sleeping, which which really actually kind of like makes you think it's like, um, was he so good with the axe that one swipe, no sound?
Right.
That's crazy. Okay,
Yep.
another one was happened when we were younger. We were, 9 and 10 years old. The Tylenol murders. In 1982, 7 people in Chicago area died after taking Tylenol capsules laced with potassium cyanide. The case led to significant changes in medication packaging, but this case still remains unsolved.
Hmm.
And there were like 2 stores. They came down to it was like 2 or 3 stores in the Chicago area where they found that it turned out that the Tylenol capsule, or the bottles were tampered with.
Right.
That led to the foil coverings, which turned
Yep.
to the pieces of foam paper that you can't get off the bottle anymore.
Yep.
Then I got one more.
Okay.
Okay, the Gardner Museum heist. In 1990, thieves disguised as police officers stole works of art valued at $500 million from the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum in Boston. It remains the largest unsolved art heist in history.
Wow.
And what they did was they walked in, they had knives, they just cut the pictures right out of the frames, rolled them up, and walked out with them.
Hmm. I mean, kudos to them.
Yeah.
I mean,
Some art heists are not like these Thomas Crown Affair,
right.
Ocean's 11 style heists where there's lasers and all this other stuff. They do it in broad daylight in front of people and they get away with it somehow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean it's crazy to think. I mean, with the, I mean, 19, well, you said it was 1997,
1990.
1990. So, I mean, yeah, we had CCTV back then, but it was, you couldn't see shit in
Yeah.
it. I mean, now we're like at the store I work at, we have cameras that can see what you're looking at on your phone.
Mm. Yeah, like back then the cameras were somewhere between an ultrasound and Doppler radar.
Right. Could they get away with that today? I kind of doubt it.
Um, right. And the ballsy thing about a lot of this is the 13 people. So these art heists, you don't just go in there and steal a bunch of paintings and then go, hey, does anybody want to buy this?
Right.
These are this shit was probably commissioned.
Yep.
We
They
want
had,
these paintings at this time. Go get them. And the more than
yep.
likely, the 13 guys that stole them aren't even are unalived, are
Right.
dead.
Yeah. I mean, because finding a buyer for those things is almost impossible because of how hot they are.
Yeah,
So, I mean, basically, is somebody saying, "Yeah, I want these pieces of art. You go get them."
yeah. And more than likely, if the guys were probably offered a sizable ransom or finder's fee for
Right.
this stuff. But yeah, they're
Yeah.
they're gone now.
Yeah.
Just like the paintings. All
Yeah.
right, what's your next one?
All right. So I went and just curiosity, tap countries that will pay you to move there.
Oh,
All right. So there are several countries around the world that are offering financial incentives to attract new residents. Here are some of the top countries that'll pay you to move there.
I'm going to write these
Chile.
down.
Yep. Chile. Chile offers an attractive program for entrepreneurs through Startup Chile. This program provides up to 80,000 in equity-free funding, a one-year visa, access to co-working spaces. Program has three tiers: build, ignite, and growth, tailored to different types of startups. Okay, I mean, and if you like, this is how bad I suck at geography. I'm not gonna lie.
Hmm.
I had to look up to see because I'm like, Chile, that's that long skinny one, right? And my wife's like, I'm not sure. So I look it
Yeah,
up. I'm like, yep, it's the one that stretches down to the bottom of South America. And I mean, South America is obviously not one of the nicest places to live.
but yes, true. When you said 80,000, though, Tim Ferriss in his book 4 Hour Work Week, he one of the principles that he mentions in the book is time and location changes what your money is worth.
Right.
So $80,000 there is way different than $80,000 here.
Right. Yes. It's going to go much farther down there.
Way farther.
But, there's lots of areas of South America that if you go down there and they know you're American, they think you got money and you're a target.
Hmm.
So, I mean, but because my wife and I were talking about, I'm like, well, Chile. I'm like, it'd be just as humid as it is here in Michigan,
Well,
because,
the thing about Chile is it's so long that the northern part is all mountainous and the southern part is all like Arctic.
yeah, because it's so close to
Mhm.
Antarctica. So I'm
And
like,
it stretches pretty damn close to the equator,
right.
all the way to
So,
the South Pole.
so that's the first one.
Okay.
Second one is Italy.
Oh.
Italy has two notable programs. Invest Your Talent Italy offers students 10,000 in funding and a one-year visa. So that's something to look into if you're
Hmm.
getting ready to go to school. The Candela Relocation Program provides up to 800 euros for individuals and 2,000 euros for families of four or more who move to the small town of Candela. So I like, you want to try out some Italy? Okay. So next one is Ireland. And this one my wife and I actually did look into because I'm not going to lie. I wanted to get out of this country since I was about 13.
Hmm.
And my kids are grown now. I've made all these sacrifices throughout that kept me here. I'm at that point where I'm like, really nothing to keep me here. I
Yep.
mean, kids, but they're pretty much grown.
Hmm.
We're not even sure we're going to end up with grandkids. So, all right. So this one really enticed me. Greece.
Okay.
The Greek islands of Antikythera is offering a monthly stipend of 500 euros, a commitment to live on the island for at least 3 years.
Okay.
I mean, I haven't looked up that island yet to see what it's like, but the Ireland. Oh, I didn't even talk about the Ireland one. I just said Ireland. Ireland, our Living Islands policy grants up to 84,000 euros or 92,297 American to individuals and families willing to move to one of its smaller offshore islands. The grant is intended for purchasing and refurbishing properties on these islands. Now, my wife and I looked into this one too. One of these islands has 1,200, a population of 1,200. Are you
Okay.
frozen? Okay, you're moving. I thought you were frozen for.
Islands.
Oh, that's the population of all three?
I think so.
I know, because like you said, one only had like 213 people or something like that on it.
492.
492. So three islands, 1,200 people spread across them.
Okay.
Which sounds so promising to me.
Right.
Get away from people, because I mean, we're the U.S. It's getting harder and harder to go to places where you can just enjoy nature and solitude or anything like that. I mean, we go on hikes and we're passing tons of people all the time, and
Yeah.
we just kind of want to go out and be by ourselves. I mean, not saying these people don't have a right to do it too, because they do,
Right.
but
But one of the catches is you have to buy the property you buy has to have a house on it. It has to be built before 1993, and it can't have been lived in for 2 years.
to catch all that.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that's just what I read, an article that I read.
You have to go there and remodel.
Years ago.
Yeah, you got to remodel it. I mean, they
Yeah.
want you to refurbish the property and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But the only way to these islands is by plane or ferry.
Hmm.
They're out in the ocean.
But they do have a cargo ship that can deliver a car for you. Because the ferries are not car ferries, they're only people ferries. They're like the
Okay.
ferries that run to Mackinac Island.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What about a pub? Is there a pub?
Oh, yes. In one of the articles that I read, it said this was the one about the island with only 492 people.
Mm-hmm.
And I loosely quote, there is enough whiskey and musicians on the island to keep the party going forever. So,
Where
This is
do I
Ireland
sign
now.
up?
right?
this is Ireland.
Yeah. So I was worried that it was going to get to like one of those like 30 days a night thing where they shut down all the taverns when it gets dark.
Mm.
Oh.
30 days up in Alaska.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
It's like, there's a no alcohol policy. It's like, no, 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 no.
No, not. I don't think they do that anywhere in Ireland. I think there would be a revolt.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, so this next one I just found today, which this one sounds encouraging to me too. Denmark.
Okay.
Denmark's Startup Denmark program welcomes entrepreneurs in clean tech, design, tech, or life science. Benefits include up to 328 of the Denmark currency, which equals about 20,846 US in funding.
Mm-hmm.
Instant access to healthcare, a visa that provides access to the entire European Union.
Nice.
Yeah. So I'm like, and pretty much once, I mean, it's hard to travel Europe from Ireland or England and stuff like that because you're on islands.
But you have to get over to England and then you have to take the channel.
Yep. But, someplace like Denmark, now you have free access. You have access to all of Europe.
Right.
So that one I found kind of promising because I'm like, I fit into the design category.
Yeah, within a few hours just by train. I mean, obviously in Denmark, instantly you can be in Germany, but in a few hours you can be in Poland, Austria, France, Belgium, just within
Right.
a couple hours.
Yep. All right. So the next one is Japan.
Okay.
Japan is encouraging relocation to rural areas by offering up to 1 million yen, around 9,000 pound or euros, to help cover moving costs. tax break through the hometown tax program. Now, my son sent me a TikTok a video, and we've been looking into it. They are also doing these things where they're trying to get people to move into the rural areas outside of the big cities. I can't remember the names now. Osaka and Tokyo and stuff like that,
Mhm.
into the smaller areas because they want to increase their tourism. So they are paying people like 90,000 to move there for 3 years, create a blog or a YouTube channel, and write about, or take videos of those areas of Japan to help increase the tourism. And after the 3 years, they want you to stay if you want to, but they allow you to leave as well.
Mm.
And I'm like going, huh, we're budding YouTube stars anyways. To two people. But I'm like, I could spend my days walking through beautiful nature and writing about it and videoing it, and I have
Right?
no problem with that.
I could go to
That would,
Ireland and remodel a house.
right. Like, hell, we could all go together and I can help you. Because you know more about it. I don't know shit about remodeling. So we also watched a video, and there was a couple of other places.
Mm.
Norway and Sweden were also on a list,
Okay.
as was Portugal
Mm.
and Germany, and the number one was Costa Rica.
Okay.
Now, I'm looking at all those and I'm like, why would you put Costa Rica number one? Of all those places, highest crime rate.
Mm.
Just this year alone, in the first 3 months or the first quarter of the year, 77 or 7,700 murders a month.
Mm.
I'm
So
like,
when I worked in Yellowstone, I worked with this group of those, like, I think there were five of them. What they would do every year was they would go work in a national park. They would save up their money, and then for the wintertime in the off season, they would go live in Costa Rica. And they by this time they had been doing it for like 5 or 6 years.
yeah,
And they would go down to Costa Rica, live like kings. Of course, there was a there was an unknown, well, it wasn't really unknown. There was an unknown part of the story that I haven't revealed about these guys, that they're all trust fund kids.
uh,
So they also had additional funds
right,
every month that came from mommy and daddy.
right,
But uh I was always kind of jealous. I'm like, that's kind of fucking cool. It's like, you guys want a sixth? I mean,
right,
but I would have to work. I mean, there was one that wasn't as wealthy as the rest of them, so he had to work, pick up extra shifts and other stuff. But he was still living the lifestyle with them.
there you go.
Yeah. And then going along those lines, when I was deciding what I was going to do. If I was flipping before I was going to go to, it was either going to move to Seattle or I was going to move down to Fort Lauderdale to go to the Art Institute. But there was a third underlying idea that came about, was moving to Prague, Czechoslovakia.
Mm-hmm.
There was a large contingent of American college students that were going there and living like kings
Yep.
off of less than $300 a month.
Yeah, I remember that.
So it's like, I really wanted to do that at the time, but I chose Seattle.
Yeah. Another place that would be good to go to is New Zealand.
Mm-hmm.
Like Australia was up there too, but I'm like, yeah, when you have spiders that are up to 2 feet big.
Yeah, I don't want to.
No.
There's too many things. Everything in Australia wants to kill you.
Right. Whereas New Zealand, they don't have as much of that, and they're closer to Antarctica, so they have a milder climate than Australia does. They have seasons.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know Australia has seasons too. They have their winter, but their winter is nothing like my winter.
Plus, it's Middle Earth.
Yep. For Lord of the, okay. I know. I was telling my daughter about that last night or the other night on the phone. I was like, we could go to New Zealand. She's like, what's that like? I said, have you ever watched Lord of the Rings? She's like, no. I'm like, Jesus Christ, your mom loved those movies. How did you never see them? I said, but they were filmed there. She's like, oh, okay. I'm like, it's beautiful landscape.
Just Google it and look at the images.
Yep. But yeah, so if you're like me and thinking, yeah, you're kind of done with this place and want to go elsewhere, those are some options for you.
I like it. I like them.
And the nice
Especially
thing
the
too is
Ireland one.
like
I like that one.
I could get an art visa to any of these places.
Yeah.
And
So
that's
with
kind of nice.
exactly. So with recent events and spirits down, I just wanted to restore faith in humanity by coming up with the top 10 greatest acts of anonymous charity.
Nice.
And yeah. So I'm going to run through these kind of quick. The first one is 100 is the $40 million college donation. That in 2020, an anonymous donor gifted $40 million to Virginia Hollins University. The substantial donation was the largest in the school's history and earmarked for scholarship endowment, aiming to make its education more accessible for future students.
Nice.
Yeah. Number two, the Secret Santa of Idaho Falls. For over a decade, an anonymous benefactor has been known as the Secret Santa, has been distributing tens of thousands of dollars in cash gifts to the residents of Idaho Falls during the holiday season. This mysterious individual works through local newspapers or local news reporters to identify and help those in need.
Right.
Number three, the $100 billion gift to New York public schools. In 2007, an unnamed donor gave $100 million to New York public schools. The donation was one of the largest ever to a public school system. It used to create small, specialized high schools throughout the city. The mystery tipper. During the COVID-19 pandemic, an anonymous tipper left an extraordinary generous tips at restaurants across the United States. In some cases, these tips amounted to thousands of dollars, providing crucial support to struggling service industry workers.
Nice.
I think that one was awesome.
Yes.
That the $200 million donation to universities. In 2020, an unknown philanthropist donated $200 million to several historically Black colleges and universities, as well as to organizations supporting criminal justice reform and reducing poverty. That number six, the anonymous art patron. Over several years, an unknown art lover has been leaving valuable paintings at charity shops across the UK. These donations, often worth thousands of pounds, have significantly boosted the income of various charitable organizations. Are they the ones from the heist?
Maybe.
The $30 million gift to Maine's community colleges. In 2020, an anonymous donor gave $30 million to Maine's community college system. This gift aimed at improving workforce development programs, increasing access to higher education in the state. So in 2020, my count is that's almost $400 million was donated to universities.
Yeah.
The secret millionaire of Seattle. For years, anonymous donor in Seattle has been leaving bundles of cash, sometimes up to $10,000 hidden around the city for people to find. The money's often accompanied with a note encouraging the finder to pay it forward. I lived there for a few years. I never found anything like that. Asshole.
Right.
All right. So moving on, the $100 million donation to child poverty charities. In 2015, an unnamed UK philanthropist donated $60 million, approximately 100 million or 60 million euros, approximately $100 million to charities fighting child poverty. The donation was made through a third party to maintain the donor's anonymity. And then the mystery medical debt forgiver. An anonymous donor was buying and forgiving millions of dollars in medical debt for people across the United States. This individual works through a nonprofit organization to pay off that organization to identify and pay off medical debts of thousands of individuals.
Nice.
Yeah. And I have to throw one more in there because this also goes back to 2020.
Okay.
Actually happened in 2021. So our schools got shut here. My school district shut schools down. Actually, I think the state of Washington did on March 13th, which was a Friday, net of 2020. Our schools
Right.
got shut down.
Right.
So up until that point, our lunches and stuff were not free. Kids throughout the district had uh, lunch debts that they had to pay off. One person came in and paid every child's unpaid lunch debt. I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, it
It
is.
amounted to over almost $50,000.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
Nice. Oh, so there are some positives in the world. We're trying to find them.
We're trying. All I can say is uh, manifest your own
Yep.
and, you know, do you
Right.
take care of yourself, do everything you can to make you happy, regardless of what's going on around you.
Yep. And maybe some of our future episodes will be from Ireland.
And maybe you'll see our new channel of our home remodeling channel in Ireland.
Right.
We can talk about how to get sheets of drywall on a ferry.
I would just have that shit flown in.
I think it'd be funny to try to.
It delivers.
Peanut Gallery said there is a container ship that delivers.
I know, but I think it'd be funny to try to walk 2 sheets of drywall onto
Yep.
a ferry and see what happens.
Yep.
You fucking idiot.
Yep. Hopefully it's inside. Otherwise, that drywall is going to be all wet by the time. All right. With that being said, you know, keep your head up. That's all we can do.
It's all you can do.
Yep.
Take care of yourself. Take care of your family.
Yep. Peace out. Love you guys.
Love you too.